All right, so today we hit arms, bis, tris. We also did some calves and abs. For biceps, we started off with just a basic seated dumbbell curl. If you notice, I keep my arms pretty much supinated the whole time. I don't do a whole lot of twisting at the bottom. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like the tension on the lower bicep when my arms are pretty much supinated the whole time. So we started there, very basic movement, squeeze very hard at the top of every rep. You know, the weight's not extremely heavy. One of the things I learned over the years is trying to sling around heavy weight on bis and tris seem to cause a lot of tendonitis, whether it be lateral, medial, tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, either version of epicondylitis. So we use kind of a medium weight, but we're squeezing really hard, keeping a lot of tension on the muscle, not using a whole lot of momentum. And from there, we moved on to one of my absolute favorite bicep exercises, a spider curl. It looks like a steeper bench version of a preacher curl. I like to actually take the bar behind my head and squeeze. A lot of people seem to think that you lose tension when you do that, but if you're squeezing, you actually don't. It feels really good. It creates an incredibly intense burn, a very good pump. So we did that, and basically on every exercise we did today, we were doing 3 or 4 sets, depending on how good it felt, just so you can get an idea of the volume we use for arms. And then on our third exercise, we used, I don't even really know what you call this little curl-looking bar, but you can swivel your wrist as you execute the movement. And I was actually starting with a pronated grip, and I was swirling it around to a neutral grip. I was really working on the brachioradialis, the top of my forearm, the brachialis, and you get some lower bicep as well. That little curl bar felt really, really good. And I haven't seen those at too many gyms, but that is a great forearm brachialis movement if you have access to one of those. We actually are going to come back to that bar here later on triceps. So then we moved on to triceps, and we started with a push down. We used the leather straps. I haven't used those in a while, but it really seems to pinpoint the contraction. It's kind of hard to put it into words, but you feel a really, really strong contraction using those. We try to keep our elbows stationary and really let your wrist right up high to stretch out the belly of the muscle, even get into the medial head of your tricep near your elbow. So nice, good full range of motion, squeezing hard at the bottom with a weight you can control. Those just burn like crazy, really pumped them up fast. Then we moved over to, it's really kind of a version of a lying extension. We're on a machine pullover. These old Nautilus machine pullovers. They're great for your back, but you can stand behind those things and you can actually use it like you would a lying extension, and really put a good stretch on the inner head of your tricep, the long head of your tricep. But watch us do these in the videos. If you have access to one of these machines, give it a shot. Not many gyms have these anymore. It's just a variation we like to do when we're here at this gym, which is Metro Fitness in Columbus, by the way. So we did 3 sets there, really hard stretch, great contractions, felt fantastic. Then we moved on to that bar again that we finished biceps with, and we actually did a lying extension with that bar. And if you look at our wrists, the way they're positioned, first of all, we're trying to keep our elbows in, and we're keeping our grip pretty much neutral, and we're doing them nice and slow. I'm lowering the bar kind of right over my nose and forehead, so I really stretch the tricep. If I were to do these first, it would probably really hurt my elbows, but doing them at this stage of the workout, they felt fantastic. When I work with people, I tell them to take all their lying extension movements and put them at the end of their tricep workout. It'll save, really save your elbows. Back when we were younger and training with powerlifters, we did all the heavy lying extensions first, and I think just about everybody tore their triceps or had really, really bad elbows a couple years in. And I used to have elbows so bad that I didn't think I'd ever be able to bench press 200 pounds again. So be smart. Any kind of lying extension, move it toward the end. This was a great variation. And then the last thing we did today was calves. And we supersetted donkey raise machine Another really cool machine this gym has that you don't really see at too many gyms anymore. And then there's kind of I wouldn't call it a standing toe raise, but I guess you are kind of standing. I don't really know what you call it, but you'll see it in the video. We just went back and forth. What I try to tell people when you train calves is I don't see people really emphasizing the bottom, the stretch part of the movement, and if they do, they bounce. Your calves are used to, you're used to standing on your toes just from the sheer fact you walk around all day. But what your calves aren't used to is coming out of a deep stretch, particularly with weight. So I try to encourage people to build up the weight they can use, just good old progressive resistance, and work out of the stretch and do very high frequency. I had my calves to their absolute best, which was 20 inches when I was training them heavy in a deep stretch 5-6 days a week. And honestly, the only days off I was taking back then was because my feet would get sore sometimes. I don't do my calves quite as often now. I've had a few calf injuries just because I went a little too insane. But just try to work with really good controlled form out of the stretch position. Even if you're doing, if you want to do high reps, do sets of 30. That's great too. Just work the stretch. I'm not saying don't get up on your toes, but just work the stretch. And that was it for today.